what's up everyone? I thought I would show off what I've been doing in quarantine, and a bit before. I've been working out how to work a 3D printer and all the software that goes with it. So I'm not really going to make a tutorial as such this video, although I'll just talk about a bit what I've been doing with each of the sculptures, because I'm not really the best person to talk about it as a relative beginner, and there are tons of great resources online if you just search 3D printing, 3D modeling, Maya tutorials, Ultimate Cura tutorials, and specific tutorials for both League of Legends and RuneScape for getting the models out of the game. But yeah, let me just show off what I've been doing. So this is just going to be a quick run through of my first prints and sort of improvements, because this is sort of an example of maybe what you could achieve if you were a beginner. I've never done any painting or modelling in my life before I bought a printer, so I'm sort of just showing off what you can do as a beginner, really. Like, basically, I'm not very good at art, but if you just want to put some time into it, these are the sort of things you can end up making. So first off was KDA Ari. The reason that I have printed the KDA figures is because the models are available on Thingiverse. These are very high detailed models, unlike just League of Legends in-game files, which is something I might talk about another time, but these are much higher quality models than you can usually expect. So this was my first attempt, and you see this is it looks okay, but it's a little messy. I barely know how to hold a paintbrush, so things like blurring between lines, and no idea really how to do eyes properly, so that's something I was working on. Next, I did KDA Kaiser, which is a little bit of an improvement, but I've still got... none of these are actually massive improvements. I'm not going to cut to the end and show off a masterpiece. But this is just... it just takes, I would say, maybe about 10 hours for each of these first ones, from start to finish, from going through the printer, and a lot of the time is the actual technical part, but it's all pretty interesting stuff. And if you've got nothing better to do during quarantine, it's pretty good fun. So yeah, this one is actually one of the first models I've been kind of happy with. It's obviously not the same as what you'd see from a finished product somewhere, but yeah, pretty fun. Then this is when I started going into RuneScape game files. I started off with a Varrock stray dog with a Santa hat on. So I had the models from the Christmas game files, and this was quite interesting, as it involved learning how to actually go from an object in game, carve it out of the game files, and then try and transfer it into a printable file type. So yeah, that was good fun. Then next off, I made Niev. So this is actually an example of a player model, which is customizable. From what I've learned now, is I'm actually able to make any player model and items, inventory, that sort of thing. So I've got the Elysian shield, which I think looks pretty cool. The pose is just a standard T-pose, like an A pose right now, because I hadn't at the time learned how to rig up a model. So this was just the default, so what you'd see with no animations or sort of, what do you call it, movement, no movement. So this was just sort of what you'd see in game if like you were lagging or something. Then next off, I have Silas, who is not painted yet. So this was actually from the League of Legends resource pack that they recently put online, and what was interesting about this attempt was the learning process of learning how to pose a figure. He came in much the same way as Niev, with the actual files Riot gave you, but I managed to rig him up on Maya. There's a few tutorials online, and obviously this isn't a finished product, but I managed to pose him rather than just sticking out as a T-pose arms at the side. And then, the most exciting one I have just finished painting today, we have Zora. Let's go a full pan view on this. This is the full Zora cave scene that I have finished making and printing out. Zora himself is in the centre, and what I've done here is I got the Zora models in game, I rigged up Zora inside Maya and posed him. So like you can see the tail's at the right angle and he's looking menacing. And then I put it on top of a base. I then got a horseshoe model to try and recreate the island. And then I printed out a load of tiny rocks from the game and some pillars. And I put them all together now, and there's a pretty good final effect. Right, anyway, I hope everyone found this video interesting. I'm not saying any of these are amazing artistic masterpieces, but this is just sort of with some practice, what you can do sort of from a complete beginner standpoint. Although I've got a bit of advantage in technical knowledge, I'd say, like the scripting side of some of the things that I used to put these together, pretty much have no artistic skill whatsoever to put these together, and I think you get some nice cool results at the end. Oh, and there's Akali, which I have not finished painting yet.